Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Nausea. Today I wanted to start a new little mini series on the channel that I've been wanting to start for a while. So I've been wanting to do a mini series kind of catered towards AKs and simple modifications. A little background on me: I've been running AKs for a really long time, over a decade. I'm not saying I'm an expert by any means, but I have picked up a few things here and there, and if there's any opportunity that I have to spread a little bit of AK knowledge, that's what I'm here to try to do. I'm not going to try to sell anyone on AK versus AR versus whatever. You pick what you like. I'm just here in case you decide you want to run an AK. We're going to try to show you some simple and cheap modifications, and we're going to try to keep it real short form. So we're going to go ahead and dive into it. Today we're going to be working on a extended charging handle. So that was my Draco there, and I've done this on quite a few AKs. Now the thing with this modification is it costs literally nothing. It costs a spent casing, which if you're shooting the AKs anyway, you have spent casings, right? I actually just found this on the floorboard of my truck because I do shoot in my truck a lot, so I just picked this up from the floor. Now to start things off, you don't have to overcomplicate it, but what I like to do is I grab my casing and I'll grab my Leatherman and I'll just squeeze it just a little bit to kind of give it an oval shape. And the step isn't super necessary, but I like to do it because it prevents the case from tearing really bad whenever you start pounding it on. Again, not really a necessary move, but I have found that some of these cheaper casings, like this Azerbaijani stuff that we've been getting recently, is more prone to tearing than like the old school Tula stuff. I used to do these extended charging handles with the Tula steel cases and I never had them rip. I don't know. Again, this Azerbaijani stuff is just cheap. It tore a little bit when I pounded it on the Draco. So it's just something to keep in mind. There's a potential you could maybe cut your hand on it. So you can file it, you can kind of smash that, you know, the torn piece down a little bit. You should be wearing gloves anyway. So the only other tool you'll need is a magazine. You can use a hammer, but why? Because you already have your tool with you. So what I do is, once we made our little oval piece, we'll line it up with the charging handle, and then I try not to hit it with the side right here. It is pretty easy to bend the sides. What I try to do is either use the back part right here because it's reinforced, or somewhere along the spine here, or I guess the front spine that would be, but we're gonna use the back part right here, a little flat spot. It's reinforced. I've never really seen those bend, so it really is that simple. So we pounded our charging handle on. We now have a nice extended charging handle. If you don't like the angle it's at, you can always try to pound it with a hammer or the magazine again. Sometimes they do, you know, pound on a little bit rear biased, or, you know, front bias isn't that big of a deal. Rear bias is kind of strange. You can pound it on as deep as you want. Just know that this isn't a super permanent modification. You know, I've had some that only lasted a couple hundred rounds. I've had some that lasted a few thousand rounds. You know, I have one on my Wasser that's been on there since like 2015. Thousands of rounds through that thing. And then I've had some other AKs where the casing just didn't hold on. But again, it's such a cheap and easy mod. You guys saw how quick I did that. You can just pick up another casing and run it again. So thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned. I have more ideas for some simple AK mods. So stay tuned. Thanks.